this is Radio Entrepreneurs. Thank you to all our listeners. My name is Jeffrey Davis, CEO, Chairman, Founder of Mage LLC, management consulting firm. And I want to thank our hosts who have created this wonderful studio for us over at Gray, Gray, and Gray. That means I'm talking to, this time, Kelly Berardi. Welcome, Kelly.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Right.
Star of the day.
Star of the day. No, she's not the star of the day. She's the star always.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
But this time we have the star of the day. We have Howard Goldman, CEO of Humboldt, award-winning moving company, not movie company.
Trust me, I wish I was a movie company.
Yeah, me
That would
too.
make life a lot easier.
Yeah, the Humboldt Theater Company.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, we were just fortunate. The American Moving and Storage Association it's the trade association for movers, represents about 10,000 movers across the country, and we were just chosen the 2018 Mover of the Year, which reflects great customer service, commitment to the community, innovative programs, and we were honored to have been chosen.
So tell us about the selection process. I'm sure you're very aware of that.
Yeah, so they whittled the list down to about 100 companies nationally, and then when it gets to the final decision round, it comes down to 6 companies. You submit a pretty substantial information about your company. You actually had to be nominated. We were nominated by our United Van Lines, our moving company, major brand that we represent. And it came down to the 6 finalists. They had a committee for it, and we were chosen. So very grateful to have done it, and I'm very proud of my team.
Do you get a plaque, an award? Do they write an article about you? What happens?
All of the above. So the article has already been written. There was an award ceremony at the AMSA 100th anniversary convention in Houston, Texas. Unfortunately, I was out of the country, so my president of the company, Jim Sullivan, went and represented Humboldt, got up on the stage, gave a speech. They did a little 5-minute video on the company, and we brought an award home. So it's sitting in our company right down the street in Canton.
Great.
Very nice, very nice. Now, this is the busy season.
Yes, it
Tell
is.
us about ramping up for the busy season, because, unlike, you really are in the hockey stick business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are primarily a household goods mover, which I'm very proud of, and do it really well. But what happens is we're a very seasonal business. So in the wintertime, not many homes sell, kids are in school. And what happens right around March, middle of April, everybody decides they're gonna sell their house. Kids are getting out of school, market's getting nice, the weather's getting nice, market picks up, and we go from 0 to 60, literally overnight. And now we're booking up almost completely for May, June, July, and August, and we'll get to the point where we may have to shut our calendar down just because we're that busy and we want to do it right, so we're not going to overbook. But what we try and do is prioritize our customers, and we'll let them know now that if you have a move coming up, we really need to know so we can get you in there.
So does your moving, will you pack up for people as well, or is it mostly, what's the sort of range of services that you provide for people?
Yeah, we're full service. I mean, we would prefer to do
What
all.
does that mean?
Okay, I'm going to tell you that. Yeah. Good question. When we say full service, so we would like to do all your packing, loading, delivering. We can do furniture repair and restoration. We can do fine arts and collectibles. So we can do it all. Now, the reality that I've come to know after all these years in business is people do not get excited about paying for a move. It's an expense that you have. But so people, when they're moving themselves and paying for themselves, because we do corporate moves where the company pays for everything, and people love that because they say do it all. And then when people pay for it themselves, we will offer to do all the packing, but we'll also tell them, look, if you want to pack the non-breakables and items you're comfortable, linens, pots and pans, things like that, they will do that, and that will help them lower the cost of their move. And as long as we feel they're doing things where
And do you provide the boxes and all that
yeah,
for
we can
that?
provide the boxes.
Yeah.
We can do all that.
I assume it's you said about the price sensitivity, and there are a lot of ankle biters in your business. How do you compete with the
I
low
like
end
that
people?
ankle biters.
Maybe that's why
I like
them.
ankle biters. Yeah, no, you're right. This business, because it's a manual labor business, is saturated with, I call them 3 schmucks in a truck. They're out there and they're gonna.
Just leave my family out of this.
Sorry, I didn't mean to insult anyone here. Oops. And they're offering. They hire guys off the street. They don't pay. Workers' comp. Who knows? They're not paying their taxes, whatever, and they're offering some crazy rates out there, and we don't do that. I mean, we're consistent. You know, we have long-term employees trained, pay them really well, and our goal is to deliver 100% satisfaction. And we do 3,000 moves a year, so we're not going to
Wow.
do perfect on every single move, but we fix what we don't do right, and that's the difference when you go with these fly-by-nights. I tell people, look, if you want to go with a lower price when it's really crazy, I mean, stupid money. So there's, you know, it's a little different than the Pareto 80-20 principle. I call it the 70-30 principle. I say if you're a gambler, you want to roll the dice, there's a 70% chance you're going to get a really good move. You'll think you're the smartest person in the world. You'll high-five yourself. But if you're one of the 30% that gets that horrible move where your pieces are damaged, stuff's missing, walls are, you know, gouged, it's late, whatever, and you've lost 2 or 3 weeks of your life, you're going to hate yourself. So you have to make the decision that's going to be best for you.
So, is the only way for a person to know how to pick out those types of movers that they're cheap and they only have a few trucks?
Well, let's make it easy. Just pick Humboldt and you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can tell. I mean, you go online, you check out the references. You know, if they've got 3 trucks in the summertime, they tend to overcommit. They'll overbook, and then they can, you know, we get calls at 6, 7 o'clock at night in the summer. You know, we hired a mover, they never showed up. Can you come and move us? We got to be out today. And we're like, really? There's just ways to know. I mean, there's a lot of questions you can ask. How long have your employees been with you? What kind of training programs do you do? Do you take care of their workers' comp and all their benefits? You know, do you pay vacation? I mean, how do you treat your employees? We really over-treat our employees because we want them to be long-term.
So, yours is a family business. How long have you been in?
1905, started by my grandfather, Harry Goldman, pulling ice in the south end of Boston, horse and buggy. 114 years.
Wow.
114 years. Third generation family business.
And now, okay, how old are your kids?
My daughter's going to be 26 in August, and my son is going to be 20 in May.
And would you sit down with your kids and say, next generation, come on in?
Yeah, that's a great question. We don't have enough time, and I need a bed to lie in or something to talk. But my father was a Depression baby and literally pulled me out of bed in the morning, throrew me on the floor, and said, "Let's go to work."
Yeah,
and
that's not the culture anymore.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a democracy.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I had a choice. If I didn't get up, he got pretty rough.
Ornery.
Yes, ornery is a good word. So I've tried to give my kids the freedom to go out and, you know, go to college and try and find something they have a passion for. I'm not saying that if they come back to me and say, hey, I'd like to try the family business, I wouldn't let them do it because I'd be delighted, but I want them to have an opportunity. And so far, at this point, my son's a sophomore. My daughter's graduated and is in Germany now, married to a service member. Neither one of them have shown an inclination to come into the family business, and I'm okay with that.
I understand the father for the Depression. I was in the food distribution business. My father would walk in the bedroom at 5:30 in the morning,
Yep.
rip the sheets off my bed and say, up.
That's it.
Gotta go.
Honest to God, same story.
Okay,
Shades come up,
shades
sheets come
come
down.
up, exactly.
And,
Gotta go.
He'd give me 5 minutes.
And if there was snow outside, it was go shovel.
Yeah,
'cause I gotta
exactly.
go.
Yeah, we came from the same, yeah.
So you have to look at that, you know, you're getting a little bit older, no offense.
Right.
You're probably younger than I am. That's
Does it
okay.
show?
Yeah. No, you're looking better than last time I saw you. Last time you were kind of rickety looking.
Yeah. All right. Here you go. Sorry.
Succession planning.
Yeah.
You must be already doing that, looking at the next generation. You have a president of the firm.
Yeah.
Was that a hard thing to do? Is it something it's an ongoing process?
That's another great question. So in a
Kelly passed it to me in a note.
yeah, she's so good.
Yeah,
You
I
are so
know.
smart, Kelly. That ventriloquist act you do is so good. It's impressive.
She's just like every other
Well,
woman.
Women
you can
are
stop- you can
taking
stop
over.
talking.
I know it's true, but
Yeah.
women are
This
taking
is a
over.
talk show, Kelly.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah. But Kelly, I know that subliminally you're sending these questions to him, and he's going, okay,
Always.
It's unbelievable.
I will ask this question.
Yeah. You should see your husband. Never talks.
Can I don't know what to say on that one. I'm not touching that.
Okay,
All
back,
right.
back
So,
to succession.
True.
in a perfect world, it would be wonderful to bring my kids in, but I knew 10 to 15 years ago when I was a young man that that may not happen. So we built a management team. I have a great president, Jim Sullivan, does a great job. Younger than I am, I have a great CFO. I have a great manager of international operations. And so if there's no interest from the kids, which of course hasn't happened yet, we will continue to build a management team and, you know, build our corporate entity so that it can survive another generation if it's not run by a Goldman. You know, we'll see.
What do
Who
the
knows?
international operations consist of?
So we do about 1,500 international moves a year. So the gentleman, Steve Dozois, who runs our international division, has been doing it 45 years. He travels all over the world. So we have a lot of international requests. The world's going international,
Yeah,
global.
yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of our companies that we work with are relocating their employees all over the world. So our international division is separate from our domestic household division, and separate teams, separate packing. You put everything in containers that you never see again. Those big containers, they go overseas and then they get reused. So it's a different process than domestic.
So when they get overseas, who's responsible for doing the move? Do you hire independent agents
Yes.
out in those?
So when I said
countries?
Steve literally travels the world. There's organizations like FIDI, Federated Independent Agents, and so you pick agents based on quality, whatever country you're going to. So let's say we pack and load it out of Cambridge, Mass, and it goes to London, England. We'll have 4 or 5 agents that we will work with, 2 or 3 that we prefer, and depending on what kind of shipment we have, we'll choose who we want to handle it and trust that they'll take care of the shipment for us.
So I would think a lot of companies, that you're competing with don't provide that level of service, right? If you look at other smaller.
The hard part in our business is everybody claims to be everything. They're high-end artwork and collectibles, they're international movers, and they're really not. And what we do is we have a separate high-end art and collectibles division with separately trained people. We have a separate international division with separately trained crews and people with expertise, and separate domestic. So what happens in our industry is everybody claims to be great at everything, and they're really not. And unfortunately, you sometimes find out the hard way when you choose somebody that doesn't have the qualifications that they said they do.
Right.
And then you have a disaster move. And when you have a disaster move, it really disrupts your life.
Wow. Howard, you never cease to, not come in with great content. And I want to congratulate you on winning this award, doing the transition.
Yeah.
You are looking great. And if somebody wanted to get hold of Humboldt, how would they find you?
I make myself very available. My wife, if you're listening, sorry. She doesn't like that my cell phone's on my card, but call 781-821-8777. That's our main number. You can always ask for me. You'll find me there. Family business, working. My email is hgoldman@Humboldt, HUMBOLDT.com. And again, I answer my phone calls and I answer my emails, and I'm happy to hear from people.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate your coming in.
Kelly, what a great job you did
Thank
today.
you.
It's unbelievable. You were
Thank you so much.
outstanding.
Thank
She's
you.
so smart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The way you planted those questions and Jeff
it
said
was good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Subtle.
Yep.
Well, again, my name is Jeffrey Davis, and thank goodness for Kelly Berardi, who's my co-host,
Yeah, no
for making
kidding.
me look good.
Where would we have been without me, right?
Where would I be
Let me
without
just
Kelly?
say this with my probably 10 seconds left. I've done many interviews with Jeff, and you do a great job. It's great to
Thank
come
you.
in. It's
Thanks
easy.
a lot, Howard.
Thank you.
Ask
You're talking
very
about Kelly,
good questions. Well, I know that it's Kelly.
Yeah.
We know the power behind
We
the
all know
throne.
it's Kelly,
I'm
right?
just trying to,
It's all Kelly.
Yeah.
It's all Kelly.
Kelly, I'm gonna be saying that myself. Kelly, oh my God.
All right,
Yeah, but thank
next
you.
time you have a crisis at work,
Right,
call
exactly. I'm
Kelly.
calling
Yeah,
Kelly.
definitely.
That's what everybody says at Great. Call
The
Kelly.
lifeline, yeah.
Kelly, we need another mover. Could you come over and do a
Yeah,
third floor
yeah,
walk up? Would
I
you
can do
mind?
that. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Send her husband, he's a schlepper.
Yeah. Really.
My name is Jeffrey Davis. We're going to sign off before I get in more trouble. This
Yeah.
is Radio Entrepreneurs.